on the track in the right direction and haven't had too many problems. So Alex Kite is now we need to be looking for. That's straight down to Brundle, down to now goes on to his first right lap. Let's see what the must run as they head towards first corner once again. I don't know if it's going to have a look, I think. They're fighting for the brake lights on at the same time, the second and third, so they are in sync in terms of braking for Richie. Marcus Burnett may have on for a little bit longer through the corner, just to be sure. But yeah, good job here. Marcus Burnett is doing to try and keep that man, Nigel Dennis, at bay, and of course be the first BMW home in this race. First time out this year for Marcus. We didn't see him at Thruxton, we haven't seen him at Brands Hatch, so this is the first time he's been out there on track, and he's had some good results so far. He was fourth in the earlier race, he's up there in second place at the minute. That was from the beneficiary of picking up a position where Cliff Penning should have been, so he's been handed out already, but he's already made a position on Nigel Innes in terms of this race, so let's see if he can keep it now. So second and third go down towards Agostini. Fourth place, on the way back already in this race, is Frank Lyde, likes to place for that BMW. Then it's going to be the next car through, which is going to be very shortly into our site, Frank Rodbert, there he goes. And then we should see, it's going to be the Volkswagen Golf now up ahead of Chris Murphy. So through there goes Brian Roberts, Chris Murphy down to 7th, Yusuf Osman is 8th. 9th place is number 24, which is Kieran Power, and 10th place, number 81, which is Timothy Poole. And bear in mind, as I said earlier on, just before the start of the race, both Timothy Poole and Kieran Power had a great scrap for the Z4, not honours, but for second place in that class effectively. I know it's not their class, they are in their own class, but in their own Z4 class, they had a good fight for second and third, although Kieran Power just made a mistake, and Timothy Poole now goes through. So he squeezes himself up into 9th place. Has Kieran Power got a problem? No, I think it was just a Larry moment through Agostini on the wet stuff, so that's all sorted. Down towards Oggies they go. They're stuck behind Yusuf Osman at the minute, and let's see who has the beneficiary in a straight line. It probably will be the Z4 just slightly. BMWs for a start. There you go, Regina already out down the bomb hole. There's a Herring moment there as well from Nigel Dennis on the exit of Nelson. Really having to work that BMW again through the bomb hole, and he might be off the circuit. He is all over the grass. There is Nigel Dennis, so he's made a slight mistake with that back end stepping out. He's trying to put as much pressure as possible onto that of Marcus Burnett, but with that one wide back end stepping out. Slowing down slightly, and he's been through now to complete lap number 2. This will be the first of 5 laps. He'll find back into the books. Alex Kite going to be the lap on circuit. He said 1.698, so not bad at all there. Marcus Burnett, definitely quicker than Nigel Innes, who made that mistake, but now it's catch-up time for Nigel. He's going towards the first corner. 25. 38, all the way down the time to start to stop now. Coming through, Frank Rodbert across the line. Here comes that scrap between Chris Murphy and Brian Roberts once again. So it's BMW Z4 up against the Golf. The Golf has the straight line margin there by the looks of it, but Chris Murphy covered off the corner. So keeping the base side by side for the Timothy Poole and Kieran Power battle, and it's Kieran Power goes back ahead after that mistake at Agostini a few corners ago. So Power ahead of Poole. Yusuf Osman then has the advantage to pull away up the road in 8th place, but he'll just be looking at his rearview mirror and hopefully that. Where that's trying to fight the queue in the Class C, trying to catch up with Frank Rodbert up the road in the Class C actually, so got a few places to get through yet before he gets there, but let's see if he can close it across the course of this remaining 8.5 minutes. Leader already down towards the right-hander at Oggies. Marcus Burnett looking comfortable now in second place after that moment from Nigel Innes. And Nigel did start to close along the start-finish line, but now through the infield he's starting to struggle once again. So I think it's in a straight line that Nigel Innes is good. Everywhere else he just seems to struggle with that BMW, but plenty of power underneath that bonnet. And it's especially in these conditions, underneath the rear wheels as well. So Nigel Lewis is trying to close, they head onto the back straight, but Marcus Burnett just holding it at the minute to about the tune of 3 seconds. It's looking comfortable for Burnett to finish second. And he's just thinking about Alex Kite to lead the race. Alex Kite is doing a pretty good job. Very old car, but front now, it's in third place because every time they go through Nelson, the back end is just stepping out. They are having the time of their lives out there, so they may be time, but at least they're having time. It's not championship, so don't worry about championship points, just go for overall victories and the best performance you can call from the car at every single race. We're going to come through sideways as well. That's going to allow Jordan to put alongside, caught up, and also not too far behind Brian Roberts. So we've got a battle on here for what's going to be the fifth place. Nelson Carter's got 5. Still keeping the pace here now, and absolutely full. And we're now number 18 on one of the over on Nicky Taylor. Which was a little round qualified this morning. The earlier race, heading through 17th place already. This one is up 6 positions. Is the Sam Super Cooper. He's not too far off the back of those 3 cars ahead of him, so that's a good run for Peter, who comes now through the right hand of the forward. Got another car with right place behind. I don't think that's going to be a car to worry about too much. I think the 40th are coming through. Frank Watson across the line in 5th place now, no longer in 5th place, down to 7th because both Chris Murphy and Brian Roberts have gone through. They are up in the pace and moving their way forward in this one. Back number 4. Now it's up. With that slide through Nelson, did the quickest lap of the race, 2:30.842. So even with the slide, he is still very quick indeed. So Nigel Lewis doing well. He's on his way down through Hamilton, and have we lost Marcus Burnett? I think we have, because there's no Marcus Burnett in second place. So where has he disappeared to? There is no yellow flags from what I can see. Again, I'm going to what's happening on 30. Marcus Burnett is second place. We've got a yellow flag at Palmer. No, there's none at Wilson. There's no green flag that I can see either. So not too sure where Marcus Burnett has gone. May reappear at some point, but at the minute I don't think he's there in second place. So Alex Kite's lead has gone from around about 4 seconds to around about 7 seconds now between him and the new second place man. So off the back straight now from Alex Kite, works his way down towards the last couple of corners, and just over 5 minutes to go right down to that place. 15 minutes, just over slightly there I would say. So get back towards the end. Marcus Burnett has recovered, but he's down in 3rd place. We did kind of just creep through my sight somewhere while I was looking to see where he was, but Burnett is down in 3rd place. Best result of the day, 4th earlier on of course, but he's still behind those 2 people he wanted to try and beat, both Nigel Lewis and Alex Kite, but nonetheless he's looking comfortable now in 3rd. He's got no one to worry about behind. The next car behind him is Frank Lyon, and that's a good 15 seconds down the road, so Marcus now can do everything in a straight line, keeping the car on the circuit. He should be good to go for 3rd in this race. Nigel Lewis goes through, still 2nd, the gap now grows to 7.5 seconds between him and Alex Kite. Racing Saloons. In terms of the production BMW, well that is currently being led by still Jackson Goodrum. Third place, car number 26 of the production BMWs. Back to the Toyo tyres, it's Chris Murphy and Brian Roberts who have now dispersed by about 3 seconds. That is the battle for 5th and 6th places. There's Frank Rodber, now a distance 7. And when he comes to the other track to use the Bosman, I don't think he will, because he's got his own problems to worry about here in terms of both Kieran Power and Timothy Poole. Those 2 BMW Z4 are now one year back with him, but 8, 9 and 10 go through. You could argue 11 and 12 are pretty much there as well. I think Taylor will stay up, and also number 22 team, Theo or Mark Shallow. Mark is there in 12, almost with those 4 cars ahead of him now, so it's going to be a 5-way fight in the closing stages of this one. So as they come from Wilson down towards Palmer, on the other side of the circuit, and almost back towards us is going to be the race leader, which is Alex Kite. He's just working his way now down the back straight, bit of traffic to deal with, which I think he's managed to get past just before the braking zone. And Brundle, yes, which he has, so through he goes back faster. So sideways for a nice finish. BMW sideways, not as much on this occasion, so it's keep it fairly straight on time. Third place now after that mistake, whatever it may have been a couple of laps ago. First one is 4.730. Starting this one from pretty much the back. He's now made his way up into 14th place after a retirement from race number 1. So made up well starting, which is good. I believe he now goes on to the last lap. So the 2 minutes left in this race. He's had a big fast lap of the race though from Nigel Innes in second place. So he doesn't think it's over, although it could well be. There's still 6 seconds adrift of Alex Kite. Alex did the hard work in the early stages to pull away and get that buffer in the second place man. But yeah, Nigel Innes does a quick lap, 2:27.985, good. Very much indeed. That's well there on many occasions. But Nigel Innes has had to work for